You're watching Eswatini TV News at 10. I'm Natsile Sitole alongside Scalo Gunene. First, here's a look at our headlining stories tonight. His Majesty King Mswati III says it brings hope and encouragement seeing Lutanga Regiment leading the way in conserving culture. Minister of Finance Honorable Nurberkenberg says government has initiatives such as the SME Agriculture Plan that aims to uplift SMEs in the agricultural sector. High Court Judge Mamsi Dlamini has applauded Eswatini's many strides in ensuring gender equity in the justice system. And now the news in detail. His Majesty King Mswati III says it brings hope and encouragement seeing Lutanga Regiment taking the initiative and leading the way in conserving culture and heritage, because through them the future generation of the country shall benefit from them, and that shall brighten the future of the country. His Majesty was addressing the regiment at Tlane Wa residence during the Bukano ceremony that was also graced by the presence of Her Majesty the Queen Mother.
The Bukano ceremony at Tlane residence ended at a very high note. Following the royal command, this was communicated by the Induna of the regiment, which summoned the regiment at Tlane residence. The event was also graced by Their Majesty's guests, Their Excellencies representing their countries in the kingdom, and as well as the Prime Minister. During this beautiful event, Their Majesties addressed the regiment. His Majesty King Mswati III said it is encouraging to see Lutango promoting and preserving culture, as this will greatly benefit the country because the future generation shall have strong cultural values and will also have great knowledge of culture that the Lutango has shared to them.
Libambe njengoba linjena uniketa dolocina ngoba siyathi uthi Luthango ngilona lelikhulisa labasha emakhaya libakhulise baze bakhule nabo babe bomake noma bobabe lesathi ukuthi ke nabatawufundza lemfundo lakini lengiyo yenhlonipho nekuthi phatha kahle nekuthi emangweni nje kuyahlonishwa siyathi uthi live liyawuphila Luthango. Sithembenini ke Luthango kufundzisa sive sakithi imihambo emasiko nenhlonipho bantu ukuthi phatha kahle kuthi umkhosi muhle kakhulu Luthango.
His Majesty also highlighted that as the country is working towards attaining first world status, the regiment should also play a role on that.
Live libheke ku first world. Kubheka ku first world kusho kufika ukuthi wonke eveni ngilo Luthango ngilo yini akabe nendlela yokuthi uyavukela uyawusebenta abuye aqinise elikhaya Luthango. Sitawungena ke kanye Luthango ka first world nembala sithumisa ngoba Luthango selaba exposed etintweni letiyendi lapha njengoba kune graduates nabo banibane labahlukahlukene expertise lawa lahlukahlukene atawusibambisa nekusisita ukuthi live lithuthuke Luthango.
His Majesty the Queen Mother emphasized on the spirit of unity and also that of conserving culture and the plants that God has blessed the kingdom with.
Bathelekile nabo ngetingane kuthi asihambe sohlangana sisive seMaswati. Master uhlangana sende njena bekunene kude lokutawusidla. Kepha master banhlalo athi tasingenela tifika tisidle. Masibambene sinyanza yinye asibone ukuthi singangena ngakuphi lesinye isilwane emkhatsini wethu. Kuti bongela nje wena kunene sekubeka nje kubantu bakho ngoba mawumgogo uhle ukhwabathisa naleti tsite etindzaba kuthi bantu babami nibohlala semunye lapha nje sihlangene sideka letimnanzi siyahleka sithi khohliwe naleti lemakhaya leti sihlwephako sithathi khumbula sesibuyela awu sengifike balenako ke awu maye bengiphumlile enkosini yami.
The ceremony commenced on Friday with the arrival of the regiment, with Their Majesties Maria Brew and a lot of other Tetfulo. On Saturday, they made marvelous dancing displays before His Majesty King Mswati III and Her Majesty the Queen Mother, and then bid farewell to Their Majesties on Sunday. As this was the end of the Bukanu ceremony for the year 2025, members of the regiment are expected to go back to their communities and ensure they use ideas and advices that they got during the land of the ceremony. And the news is Impolile Mazia at Hlane Rural Residence.
Members of the Lutanga Regiment, coming from all the 4 regions of the country or the Kingdom of Eswatini, outdid themselves when dancing before Their Majesties at Hlane Rural Residence during the Bukanu ceremony. This was the second leg of the ceremony and it was ended on a high note.
The hundreds of thousands of the Lutanga Regiment outdid themselves before His Majesty King Mswati III and Her Majesty the Queen Mother with their dancing skills, while led by Emma Kosigati to His Majesty at Hlane Rural Residence last weekend. Just as they promised on Saturday, they made marvelous dancing displays as it was also the International Day of Women, which was declared by the United Nations, and also on Sunday when they bid farewell to Their Majesties. The regiment started with Guhlehla and then danced Ummiso while led by Engakosigati to His Majesty. The regiment then danced in Jiloni with Their Majesties, which marked the end of the Umiso. The Bultamba stage then followed by a school who led the regiment on this part as well. Emazinyane also outdid themselves in this part of dancing. Their Royal Highnesses, the older princesses, were not left out of this one. They took part in this Kutamba part. Other members of the regiment that took part in the Kutamba dance are Balondolozi Labancane, the Lubombo Indruna, members of the regiment from South Africa, Lutango representing Rishins, and many others. And the news, I'm Polile Mazia at Hlane Residence.
Today, the Prime Minister of the Kingdom, His Excellency Rasa Dlamini, had a telephonic meeting with the U.S. Secretary of State, His Excellency Marco Rubio. In the meeting, the long and friendly relationship between the two countries was noted. The Prime Minister appreciated the existing bilateral relations between the two countries. The Secretary of State also expressed hope for expanding the existing partnership between the two countries. Minister of Finance, Honorable Noo Raukenberg, says it is disappointing to see small-medium enterprises rush to get loans in order to kickstart their businesses. The minister says they have initiatives such as the SME Agriculture Plan that aims to uplift SMEs in the agricultural sector. Minister Neil said this during the post-budget seminar.
Somehow we're misleading the youth, we're misleading SMEs, we're misleading the private sector in that case. The first step is going into business with what you have in your hands, with whatever you can do. You have to start by doing something. So by the time they come to a bank, the banks have no problem being small, but if you want to make shoe polish, show me that you're making shoe polish, that you've got a vendor who's selling you shoe polish to you, and then show me the numbers, show me the history, you've done it for 6 months, now you come to a bank for a loan, you've actually got something. It's very different. So I think that education in this space is critical for us to get the SME sector right. As a government, we take it absolutely seriously. We're actually working on a very exciting.
Economist Thembinkosi Dube says there is a gap between what the government is planning and what is needed by citizens on the ground. Dube says unemployment in the youth is one indicator that the economy is struggling.
The issue of youth unemployment remains a major problem. And you have a wonderful budget speech. The plans that you put, they are good. But there are people, as I speak to you, they are in the shops around, trying to get themselves busy. They are not doing anything. So I feel the budget has less to do with that. Marketplace, it is a concern for me as an economist if I get to the marketplace and I see few crates who are selling with few foods.
Representing Kango CEO Dimpiwe Shabangu says they acknowledge the government for prioritizing education, most especially subjects in science, technology, engineering, and math.
Acknowledging that the focus on STEM competencies and critical skills which has been identified in the budget is a very good, and also we are on the early education of the country, and we feel there should be maybe a bit more investment in that. And as you know, care points and preschools, I think there can be more investment done in that budget.
The 2025-2026 budget speech says the agriculture industry could have the biggest positive impact on the economy. One initiative that will help in making this a reality is the Smallholders Agricultural Productivity and Market Enhancement Project, which is scheduled to launch in May 2025. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Tatabile Mamba in Babane.
The country has only 9 women and 27 men in the judiciary. This was revealed by High Court Judge Mamsi Dlamini, who says though this figure may appear as minimal to some, it is one of Eswatini's many strides in ensuring gender equity in the justice system. The judge has said this in an interview with Eswatini TV on the International Day of Women Judges. In April of 2021, the United Nations General Assembly established the 10th of March as the International Day of Women Judges. Under the theme Women in Justice, Women for Justice, this day recognizes the contributions of women in the judiciary and promotes gender equality in legal systems worldwide. In a sit-down with Eswatini TV, High Court Judge Mamsi Dlamini elaborates on the role of women judges in the country.
When we are upholding justice, is that you look at the evidence, you are guided by the evidence, the law guides you on what evidence you shall be looking at a particular case. That is general. So judges are trained to uphold the law, to apply the law without any favor. They must practice impartiality in so doing, not looking at the gender or the if I may say, the age of the victim or whatever. Now, that is the starting point. When it comes now to the second stage, what message do I send as a woman judge out into society? A woman judge is expected to pass judgments that are clear, loud and clear, that the courts will not tolerate any discrimination, any victimization, any violence against a particular victim.
Judge Mamsi recognizes challenges faced by women judges in ranking higher within the judiciary, highlighting these statistics.
The more you have women judges, you know that the ratio now balances. Yes, so we start from there. And then women have a special role because they are sensitive to these things, in as much as a judge is expected not to have feelings when a case is going on, when he's presiding over a case. But women judges are expected to know these things firsthand. If there is an abuse case, they are most sensitive to those things. And so that their judgments also speak, it's not just a by thing to a judge who's a woman when he's handling a particular human right case or is handling a case that involves violence. The Supreme Court at present has 8 men with 1 woman. The High Court has 11 men with 5 women. The Industrial Court has 4 men and 3 women, which is good news. Then the Industrial Court of Appeal, unfortunately, has men only. Now we have 27 men in the judiciary and we have 9 women.
She says though there are many efforts that ensure women empowerment and their participation in leadership roles, the Judicial Service Commission continues to reaffirm its commitment to developing effective strategies for the advancement of women in the country's judicial system. Reporting, I am Natsila Sitole, Woodlington Kule, High Court. And moving on to sports, national team head coach Zdravko Lukarusic has called up his troops who will do battle against Morocco and Mauritius in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers.
We were running out of time. That means when we play against Cameroon, it's not a time where we should make lots of changes, and we have to bring a team maybe with a bit more experience for this game, which can adjust in such a situation where we right now. Also, I didn't have an opportunity, but I had some highlights with the people from Botswana, even from Tanzania, about our two players which are coming from that country. And also, I was talking with some of you and people which are involved in football, even in federation, even with Anthony. I was talking last time, and then about those two players, maybe they are questionable about from Botswana and what is name from Tanzania. How they played 2 years ago, it's a different story. When they were here, now they are somewhere else. After 2 years, maybe they are more mature. Maybe they are better. If they play in better league, in quality league, and then, for example, in Tanzania, they are position number 4 or 5. They are behind Azam, Yanga, and what is name and Simba. And in Botswana, you know, Galaxy also, they play Champions League or qualification for Champions League, and their boys around 30 years old. And let them finally to see, I have opportunity for them to see, are they for us or are they not?
That's all for now. Before I go, here's a reminder of our headlining stories. His Majesty King Mswati III says it brings hope and encouragement seeing Lutanga Regiment leading the way in conserving culture. Minister of Finance, Honorable Nuru Rautenbach, says government has initiatives such as the SME Agriculture Plan that aims to uplift SMEs in the agricultural sector. High Court Judge Mamsi Dlamini has applauded Eswatini's many strides in ensuring gender equity in the justice system. And with that, it's a wrap. I'll leave you now with the weather update. For myself and the crew, thank you for your company. Good night.
Shop millions in savings with Spar Reward until 21 April. Get 750ml